before the way forward, you know,
before the way forward.
Before the way forward, you know, the Senate knows that they can't go very far with this investigation.
Why?
Remember the members of Agriculture Committee of National Assembly, I thought the governor would say that.
Yeah, I know it.
Were flown in private fixed-wing planes to Malindi. Then they were kept in hotels. Mm-hmm. And one of them then told me when there was an uproar that they were being given money in these hotels. Mm. So they never even went to Galana.
Those are very strong allegations to
no,
make.
It was all over news. You maybe just jog your memory. Remember there was the Agriculture Committee fiasco. When they went to investigate this farm, National Assembly Agriculture Committee, I was a deputy minority leader. Mm-hmm. So I'm not talking about...
something you don't know.
Yeah, but I also want to tell you, you know, when that gentleman accuses top NIB officials, then you say he doesn't have proof. The proof is not on the citizens. Mm-hmm. The DCI and the DPP are now doing a very good job. Yeah. Just they need to pick that as a lead, in beginning with those members of that committee.
So they should be investigating them as we speak.
That committee. Mm-hmm. And I'm warning the Senate committee that they will not go very far, because this is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. I want to think, Honorable Kirwa, mm-hmm. that the problem to this thing will be in bits and parts. Mm-hmm. For example, I watched on CNN early this morning the trade war between China and the US, mm-hmm. which has affected grain farmers. Mm-hmm. In Iowa, in America, they have something called crop insurance. Like what the governor is saying, maybe we need to think outside the box. Maybe since the governor is here, in your county, get an insurance, because your county is so fertile, crooks will keep coming, and they are scamming your people. So like the 67 million shillings you're talking about should have been insured. And you are getting public funds. Use that insurance to reparate your people, yeah, so that your people don't go down the grave because they are thieves in government. That you can do for us. Let us think outside the box to try to slay this dragon of corruption, because I think it's all about corruption. I also think what Honorable Kirwa is saying is true, that we need to invest in research institutions. I believe that we probably need to devolve that part. We will get governors who are as good as Professor Kipruto Arap, who will value research. Yeah. We will get there. We are beginning to see signs of good governance in some counties. Yeah. But this huge, large criminal enterprise, so in the name of national government, it's a criminal enterprise. The only way is to run away from it, because the way it is developing to show that there is nothing good left of it. The guy who was sent a tweet there, anonymous, yeah, he has listed
all the white elephants.
All the white elephants.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? You know, the problem is not here. Even if you ask us for a solution about Yala Swamp or Hola or Kanana Gulalu, we are giving an aspirin to somebody with malaria. So the problem in this thing is a dysfunctional political system. Mm-hmm. And I think Kenyans need to elevate the discussion to another level, because the fabric of the society is dead. Okay. We need to reconstruct who do we want to be, where do we want to be as a people 50 years from today. You know, and I don't think it is too hard to do. We must know and convince Kenyans, and you people of the media, the fourth estate, you must convince Kenyans that it is bad politics that has led us here. And you know, when you look at us, when we talk, we are not talking about what our neighbors eat or what the people we lead will eat. And the theft is in the budget process.
Yeah.
You know, lastly, you know, when I have said here that these people were supposed to come and lease our land and pay us. They should have been paying his county. It's like this SGR thing. It was BOT, build, operate, and transfer.
Yeah.
We are now for over 400 billion shillings with the rail line, the only one in the world, the largest capital project in Africa that does not terminate in any city. Sokimau is not in Nairobi. It is in the Eastern Province. Mombasa, you go to Miritini. Then now it's going to Naivasha. What are we telling Kenyans? Is it that hard? Honorable Kirwa. Is it really that hard? We can do something.
Okay.
You know.
Right. Kirwa, from where you stand, what is the solution? I'll come to Governor because it's in your county. Now you will tell us how to fix it.
Yes,
So
a number of things.
Yeah.
One, revitalize the Ministry of Agriculture, allow it to have some kind of contact with the counties and give what we call backstop the counties for the time being until the counties are able to take off and run on their own.
By revitalizing, you mean change the leadership?
No,
or change the people,
not the minister.
or change the structures?
Revitalize, allow the officers at the ministry. Because when I went to that ministry many years ago, I had a different perception. But when I listened to the officers, I realized they are well trained and they know what they ought to do, but they wait for the minister and other people to give them direction. So revitalize the ministry. Number two, spend more money in the ministry. The 10% that we talked about in Maputo of the budget is not, we are not meeting it. And when that money comes, share it in a way that much of it goes for operations in the counties and less of it at the headquarters. Number three, also spend more money in research. We are supposed to spend of the budget of the ministry 1.5% of the money ought to be spent on research. And a country that does no research, especially in a vital sector like food security component, is a country that is bound to fail. Number three is spend more money on mitigating post-harvest losses. We lose in some crops like maize 50 billion every year because post-harvest handling for many farmers is very poor. You keep your maize in the store, there is a weevil called Osama that devastates. So post-harvest losses are heavy. For tomatoes, mangoes, and other perishable crops, it is 50%. So spend more money on post-harvest losses. Number five, make sure that there are small programs like the one I saw in Marakwet the other day for mango processing, so that you mitigate against the losses after harvesting. Because crops like mangoes, they come off-season and on-season at different times. When they are on-season, they are too much for the population to consume. So you need to process. Finally, rid the Ministry of Corruption and allow the ministry to operate without political interference.
Yeah. Do you think we should change the structure of training maybe and even perception among the youth? Because I was reading earlier on in Italy, it's in a country in Europe now, it's the youth, they have the highest number of youth in agriculture.
That is, Trevor, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Because many farmers are my age and older. People of your age are not involved in farming. They are not in any way. But you see, farming or agriculture is a long chain. So ask yourself, where can we involve the youth in this particular chain? Issues of marketing, issues of processing, you can involve the youth. And you must invest in infrastructure for farming. You cannot just run away from farming and you say you'll be food secure. If you are to do what we call import substitution, you will actually spend more than 150 billion just for maize alone. And when you talk of tomatoes and other crops, you will be spending almost all the money that you put in the budget to import food. Now, what is happening is that we are importing food from the region all the way to South Africa, including eggs and oranges, when we can produce in Ukambani a lot of fruits. We can produce in some other regions a lot of grains, including Tana River. But ask yourself, is that the right seed for Tana River?
Yeah.
One of the things that
and finally,
sorry, go ahead.
Also make it affordable for farmers to do farming by giving them affordable credit, access to affordable credit.
Access to affordable credit.
Yes.
A big concern, 2040, who will be farming if a generation of farmers pass on without anyone to take over? That is, I think, a very relevant question, Trevor. But Governor, you have the final say on this. Way forward.
Yes, just to put my brother to picture on the cost of production. It's not that the first experiment on production failed. It failed because of the gaps that the contractor was put into. But if it was done as per plan, and given that we are doing 2 seasons, the Galana Kulalo production per acre was supposed to be better than what they... But that was again politics, to try and say the cost of production here does not make sense. And to prove, I can prove you, and prove a point. When we went into the stimulus program, and that's why the gentleman put about NYS there, we did whole irrigation scheme. Went there with President Kibaki, Raila, the whole team of government to revive whole irrigation scheme. And there was bumper harvest in Hola. Leave alone Galana Kulalu, where now all these riches are gone into. Whole irrigation scheme. We registered serious harvest that time. Even in Bura, in 2013-14, when now people were funded and seeds were brought, there was a serious harvest. But at the end of the day, see, government said they will buy. In fact, even the governor said, I'll buy part of it. NIB, of course, they took the role of market and prices. They were also to buy to NCPB. But it did not go that way. Farmers kept keeping the grain in stores. At the end of the day, they said, because now they could not buy, they created a script to say maize was affected by aflatoxin. And they were told to ban. Some farmers refused and ate the maize. And they could tell me there was nothing like aflatoxin. We ate the maize and never died. So a series of setbacks went on there. Then came to this seed of the 519 we're talking about. After that, there was again armyworms. And that's why by the time of the political campaign, there was already a mess. And that is what brought the talk of paying for the farmers. That's what brought... So there had been a series of setbacks from 2013, 2014, 15, 16, all through.
So now the Senate committee wants the Auditor General to investigate this issue. Where should he start?
It is truly... We cannot run away from the fact that Tana remains a food basket. We can't run away. The fact is clear. But on this issue of Galana Kula, I'll agree again with you about extension services. And you are the minister.
I was.
I was. No, we are not trying to put you into this. But NIB is composed of water engineers.
That's true.
It does not have extension officers. Extension services for agriculture collapsed long ago. The only hope for extension is the Department of Agriculture in counties.
Actually, one of our viewers has said that, and we will be putting that tweet up on the screen.
That is the hope for extension services today. So if we really want to survive in all this, the government has no option. And that's why I asked the senator yesterday, the senators, the committee, that we need a legislation that can put in an institution, a vehicle that now can be able to undertake those things in conjunction with NIB. So NIB should remain national. If any, they really still need. I believe we still need it.
Can I say just one thing?
So that in the meantime, us as county government, I'm doing it in Tana. I have gone to NIB and I have put in tractors in there. I took 1,000 acres. And I said, we want to do it ourselves for the farmers. We put in the machinery. We have another kabamba harvest, and we now have around 3,000 bags. So
it's better if it was left to you. Jaco, you want to say something very briefly?
And we're going to Bura again. We have increased the number of tractors. And in this budget, we're going to buy more. So that we are the one now providing machinery to the farmers in the scheme.
Yes.
All right.
But
Actually, he has answered. He has just
Yes,
said
really
what
answered.
answered what I wanted.
So
Okay.
we are already doing it ourselves,
Yes.
and it's working.
Yes.
It's working, Kira. That's why we are telling. And again, in about Gulana Kulalu and those schemes, county government cannot be second party. I said it yesterday. We cannot be second party to the extent that NIB has to do it until then when it is then we come in. No.
Okay.
In fact, if there was to be somebody who would resolve the problem between the contractor and the employer, was the county government.
Fair enough.
This could have been the arbiter.
Fair enough. Yeah. Governor, I think we'll allow you and the Honorable Kirwa to take this discussion offline because we do need to wind up. We are past our time. But we thank you so much, of course, to each of you for joining us for this particular discussion. We have had Honorable Major Retired Dr. Dado Godana. Thank you for coming to shed light on what happened in Galana Kulalu. You're the Governor of Tana River County, one of the counties where the project is based. Of course, Honorable Jakoyo Midio, former MPGM, for weighing in on this. And I'm glad he answered your question before you asked it. And Honorable Kipruto Arap Kirwa, a former agriculture minister who has insight into how the Ministry of Agriculture works and has helped shed light on that. We have a lot of feedback. Can we have one tweet and I also have an SMS. Let's put the tweet up first.
All right, Jamba says, I don't think there will be any light shed about this Galana issue. I'm a victim of the NIB launching a project on a family land in Machakos. And when I try to seek justice on this, there's a lot of blocks. There is power from above. All right,
That's what we have on the screen. Okay, we have some SMSs. Oh, 6 SMSs. Charlie Donholm says, instead of spending billions on clearing Galana, they would have at least let pastoralists come and harvest fodder. Okay. All right.
All right, let's see more. Ahmed from Mombasa says, do our managers or leaders of Kenyan affairs ever watch Daybreak? The discussions are articulate, strategic, and above all, provide great solutions. I wish they did. Ahmed, thank you so much. We wish they did as well. They do watch, but the issue is that they're implementing.
You don't give us your name, but you say we can learn from 2 structures that work. Oh, okay. Actually, this is a tweet from Harun Washira, a farmer in Kirinyaga. We can learn from 2 structures. TKTDA works better than coffee, which is cooperative driven. And 2, horticulture works because farmers are assured of market. Yes. Let's go to the next slide. That fails when prices are crushed by cartels or when farmers are not paid. In all, farmers need a secure market, a good price, crop insurance, and facilitation to obtain inputs. Okay. I think there's a bit more of that. Mwe is a good example of good government structures. Government through NIB provides water and research, and farmers do the farming, and small millers buy or mill the rice. I think there's one more.
Aaron Washira from Kirinyaga says, Honorable Kirwa, in my county, there are 100 agricultural extension officers and you cannot see a single one of them in the farms. Government cannot provide technical or growing or even management services.
So where are they? If you can't see them in
we'll try. We still have more tweets here. I think we'll try and sample some of them because we asked you to give feedback. So Boniface Weteto says, in Kenya, we only look at results but not the process. Galana Kulalu tuliangalia 10 million bags and that was it. Mary says, I have been farming and I can tell you for a fact that Kari, Pyrethrum and any farming government institutions, even research institutions do not work and no field officers on the ground. This is a fact. And we also have another one here. Charles Consulting says the same institutions that are dogged with nepotism, tribalism, corruption at all levels walk into any Kari, Kemri. Very few of their researchers are qualified to be there. Waliletwa juana na mtu fulani huko. All right, let's see another one. Bernard Coet says, we introduced degrees in agriculture in 1960s and our universities, and it is very shameful we do not have homegrown knowledge, skills and experience to make us self-sufficient in food. People are planning to go to Mars and we can't feed ourselves. This is madness.
Madness. CSQ Njuri, your PSS, the whole team, I hope you've watched this program. Kenyans know what they want. Our panel here have given some great solutions, led, of course, by the governor here. We cannot keep going around this circle and having this discussion every year on food security. I think that's how we wrap up this discussion. Thank you so much for everyone who's taken time to weigh in on this. It's not the end of Daybreak though, so stay tuned. Willis, Zinzi up next, and of course Trevor and I will be back at 9 o'clock to give you more updates. You're watching Daybreak live on Citizen TV. Stay with us.